Yo, what's good, family? It's your boy, Jay Gray, aka The Ace, also known as DP Dougie. Welcome to another episode of the Drink More Water show on this wonderful Tip for Tip Thursday. What's poppin'? I don't know why I'm in a good mood today. All I know is that I got another day to live. I got another day to spend with y'all. I got another day to try to achieve my dream. I've gotten a couple suggestions on what I should talk about for Tip Thursday, and they are some pretty good ones considering what's coming up, the holidays. All right, so we may have more than one segment about the holidays considering we're still a few weeks out, but I think it'll be a good one. Few tips before that. For one, you already know what's coming. Drink more water. 2, love yourself. 3, love your neighbor. 4, so this week, I'd say, has been a bit of an up and down one. I think it's important it's just as important to understand where you are as it is to be positive. You know, I always try to make sure that I push positivity, push understanding, push all that stuff. But it's also necessary and important for you to feel the feelings that you're feeling, okay? Positivity is a mind frame. All right, it's not the picture, it's the way in which you frame everything that happens, okay? Isn't saying, yo, ignore all the negative shit, ignore the bad feelings that you feel, ignore, I'm not saying any of that. The only way that we can learn how to deal with that and to apply our positive mind frame to those situations is to understand, is to feel, is to internalize what that stuff is. But just on a day-to-day basis, feel the feelings that you feel. It is very important. We are all human. We have a million feelings that we need to understand and know where they're coming from. The positivity aspect comes into not allowing those negative feelings, not allowing those negative situations to overtake your life and turn you into something that you're not. You feel what I'm saying? Positivity is how in which you deal with those negative things. And that positivity may not come right away, and that's all right. So that's a tip. Another tip: love hard. You feel what I'm saying? I think there is the ability to love hard without loving naively, if that's a word, in a naive way. Saying when I care, I care. All right. When I love. Just who I am, that's who my mom is. That's who my mom taught me, not necessarily taught me to be, but I think that's just how we are as people. When we love hard, and we love to the fullest. And when we're done, we're done. You know what I'm saying? I think understanding that for yourself, don't let anybody tell you that it's wrong. Number 2, take pride in you. And take pride in everything that you do. Take pride in everything that you say. Take pride in everything that you think. All right? Tip 3, okay? Eat as well as you possibly can, all right? Food plays such a big part in, obviously, our nutrition when it comes to the physical well-being. But when it comes to mental well-being, our diets are just as, if not sometimes a little bit more important than we give it credit for. There's a lot of shit in the background, excuse me. Yes, eat right, or not. I'm not gonna say necessarily eat right, but eat the best you possibly can. And that's also a very privileged position to come from, because it's not that easy sometimes, and most times the better foods are the more expensive foods. There is a way for you to do that. There's a lot of online nutrition guides that can help you find better substitutes for things. I'm not saying go vegetarian or vegan or anything like that. Trying to make sure that we get as much good stuff in us as we possibly can. Another tip, y'all, pay attention. All right, I'm sorry. In 2017, it's hard for me to accept when somebody tells me that they don't pay attention to the news. At the point in which we are, especially I'll give you some leeway room, from 15 up, 14 up maybe, because a lot of kids these days are a lot smarter than we were at that point, should be knowledgeable and aware of what is going on in this world, all right? And that's solely because a lot is at stake, a lot more is being threatened. People's livelihood, people's lives, people's security in a lot of different ways are being threatened.
I was still asleep. Meek Mill violated some bullshit probation, 2 to 4 years. Brock Turner, you know, the rapist, 6 months but only served 3.
And you're telling me there's no reason for you to be paying attention to what's going on in this world? You feel what I'm saying? Like, this is the reason why we have got to spread love and positivity, y'all. We don't really have much of a choice. Another tip. Let's get into this whole holiday thing. As most of y'all know, I spent the last 4.5 years in Minnesota, right? I went to college there. So and I was only coming home for the holidays, right? Living in such a progressive state as Minnesota, right? I've always liked to think that I've been very progressive, especially when it comes to the world that I grew up in the Bible Belt South. There are things that I learned in Minnesota that I would have never knew I needed to learn. And so coming back home with these ideas, coming back home with this newfound level of knowledge, with this newfound level of acceptance, really, coming home, it could be a process, right? What I think is most important, and I don't want to touch too much on the specifics of what it is you need to do in order to get along with your family going home for the holidays. I will say is that, for one, they're your family. Unless there is some real serious reason why it's not safe for you to go home, whether that be mentally or physically, I would say stay away from that, you know? If it's not to that extent, my advice to you is to not touch it, all right? Specifically during the holidays. I think during the holidays, it's important that, especially in the world that we live in now, to take that time to love your family. With my grandma gone, with my grandfather gone, with my aunt gone, but not being home for so long and only being able to see them, you know, once a year, and now never being able to see them or hear them ever again. Excuse me. Never being able to see them again puts stuff into perspective. You come into this world with your family, and you're going to leave this world with your family. Those are the people that are going to be tied to you no matter what. You know what I'm saying? I think we take a lot of that for granted, and I think a lot of the reason we take that for granted isn't all our fault. I think the world we grow up in very much has taken the light off of the family value and the value of blood relation. The individual mindset that people have has kind of taken how we look at our families, you know? And there are the generation gaps, but I think it's really important that during the holidays, if it's safe for you to, I want to continue to reiterate that. If it is safe for you mentally and physically to go home during the holidays, I think that it's very much worth taking that time to really love your family. Love them for being your family. Love them for knowing that they will be there no matter what disagreement you might have, no matter where you might be in life. Those are the people that you're going to call when you're somewhere by yourself and there's no one else that you can call. They're going to be there for you. And if they're not, and I want to say this seriously, if they're not and you're watching this and there's some way for you to get in hold of me, I will be that for you. And if y'all know me, I don't just talk just to talk. When I say I'm there for you, I'm there for you. You know what I'm saying? And if I can be that for you, let me be here. But if you don't need that and you have someone, take full advantage of that, y'all. Seriously, take full and utter advantage of that, okay? On a lighter note, yeah, another tip is save your money, all right? One thing I will say that I had a problem with and my ex-girlfriend definitely helped me with is learning that saving your money, all right, Save your whatever change you have, like put it in a jar, that stuff adds up. And when you're making a check, set aside more, 50 or more of that. You know what I'm saying? Again, privileged. And if you need to spend it all to take care of necessities, I understand that. But if you are just spending your money frivolously and just kind of doing that thing, which is me, I have a problem with clothes, I have a problem with shoes, I have a problem with spending money. All right? Save it, because I've gotten into binds where it's gotten to the point where, like, you know, I've had to dig myself out of a lot of holes. Not solely because I was irresponsible. You know, life actually did hit, and there were a lot of serious things that I needed to take care of. But earlier down the road, before all those serious things came into play, had I been a little bit more concerned with what it is that I had saved, I wouldn't have needed to stress about that stuff. For our last tip of the show, this is something that I learned the other day. Super pragmatic, super applicable. This may sound simple, but these are the 4 agreements of life. 1, be impeccable with your word. All right? When you say something, mean it. When you say something, mean it. All right? Mean what you say what you mean. You're not helping anything or anyone by sugarcoating anything. All right? I'm not saying go out here and be malice and just be mean, you know what I'm saying? But mean what you say when you say it. You know, people need to take you seriously when you say what it is that what you need to say. All right? Speak your truth. I love you. I'm being impeccable with my words and telling you that I love you because I mean it. I might not know you, but I don't need to know you to love. As a human being and as a compassionate person, it's important for me to be impeccable with my words so that you know that while I'm doing all these videos, I mean everything that I say. Number 2, make no assumptions. All right? That's a problem I have with as well. A lot of us have, is making assumptions. That does nothing. If you don't know, ask. If you have to assume, it's safe for you to ask. Making assumptions gets you in a lot of trouble, okay? It's got me in a lot of trouble. I've quite honestly lost whole relationships based on assumptions, and I'm just being as real as I can, and I'm being impeccable with my word. And do not make assumptions, okay? Because it will drive people away. It will drive situations away. It will drive opportunity away. We can make assumptions about whatever the case may be, and if you're wrong, which a lot of times we are, that can cause a lot of strife. You know, making assumptions just brings on more anxiety, okay? Number 3, nothing anybody does is your fault. Nothing anybody does has anything at its essence to do with you. And this may be one of the ones that's a little bit harder to grapple with, because there are situations where we feel like it's, you know, it may be something that's happening to us right then, right? Any decision we make is because we made it. Any decision they make is because they made it. All right? At the end of the day, you have to live with yourself. They have to live with themselves. Whatever the situation is, no decision that is made truly has anything to do with you. All right? Whatever someone chooses to do, the consequences, whether good or bad, are on them. All right? So you can't live your life day to day worrying wholeheartedly on what other people are doing. It might hurt. I'm not saying do away with the feelings, because that just completely goes against what I said earlier in the video about feeling what we're feeling. All we can do is react and choose how we're going to react. All right? Number 4, really the easiest but the most hard to do, always do your best. And that's what we've been told since we were little, always do your best. And the reason I say this might be the hardest one, because it changes from time to time, is our best isn't always what it is or what it has been, you know? Yesterday, I couldn't get a video out because my best was to take care of myself. My best was making sure that I at least got out of the bed. I worked out, I rode a bit, I ate, which is something that I have trouble with. When I get in my mindset and my whatever, it's hard for me to do those things. I did my absolute best to get what I could done. Today, my best is to be is way more than it was just eating. I've worked out. I still got some more work to do, which I'm going to do. It's like,
do it! Just do it!
And sometimes you might have to work a little bit harder, but always do your best, okay? Y'all, you know, and I know that you are worth it.